so let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and members of the media, welcome to this INTERGEO's press conference in Frankfurt. It is Wednesday, and this media event traditionally marks halftime of INTERGEO, the leading international expo and conference for forward-looking geospatial applications. My name is Christopher Würtgen, and I'm delighted to guide you through this media event for the first time in silent mode. So this is an experiment for all of us, I think, but I'm confident that everything works fine. So together, I am sure we make the session both informative and engaging. As host of INTERGEO, the DVW, the German Association for Geodesy, Geoinformation and Land Management, has put up a headline for this event, and this is Rethinking Data, Geodata in the Age of AI, Sovereignty and Digital Realities. And indeed, we experience a new era of geospatial innovations. The way we think and the way we use data is undergoing a profound transformation. And the opening keynotes of yesterday's INTERGEO Congress have emphasized that very clearly. So no longer a static snapshot, data is becoming dynamic, continuously refreshed through sensors and the Internet of Things. It is shifting from isolated to connected, flowing seamlessly across platforms, APIs, and collaborative systems. It is moving from passive to predictive as AI transforms information into foresight, enabling us to anticipate change and act proactively. And finally, it is evolving from centralized to decentralized, with edge computing bringing intelligence directly to the point of collection. But with these opportunities come new responsibilities. So we must ask ourselves, how can we ensure that geodata remains a trusted foundation for decision making? Who controls the flow of data? What frameworks do we need when predictive systems influence not only business, but us as society at all? And how do immersive digital realities from AR to XR change the very way we experience, understand, and engage with geoinformation? And these questions are not abstract. They were in the middle of the conference, and because they define the future of the geospatial industry, and future in which data is not just managed, but lived, like a fabric that weaves together innovation, collaboration, and responsibility. So this conversation is in the heart of INTERGEO 2025. And I'm very happy to have distinguished guests here on the panel to give reliable insights to these questions. So let me introduce our guests to you. First of all, I welcome Professor Rudolf Steiger. Since 2023, he is president of the German Association for Geodesy, Geoinformation and Land Management, DVW, der Gesellschaft für Geodäsie, Geoinformation und Landmanagement. So viel Zeit muss sein, das auch noch mal einmal auf Deutsch zu sagen. The DVW is the host of INTERGEO and organizer of INTERGEO conference. Rudolf Steiger led the FIG, the International Federation of Surveyors, as president until 2023, I think that was. Yes. And you held a professorship at Bochum University for Geodesy until 2022. Welcome, Professor Rudolf Steiger. A warm applause, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I welcome Ralf Mosler. Ralf Mosler leads the BIM transformation at Autodesk, a leading software company specializing in products for architecture, engineering, and entertainment. Autodesk is best known for its AutoCAD software, as well as 3D modeling, simulation, effect tools used across various industries. You are a BIM expert of the first hour with over 20 years of industry experience. Autodesk is platinum sponsor of INTERGEO, so happy to have you here, Ralf Mosler. Thank you. And I welcome Sebastian Pache. He's a new face on the panel. He is with Esri since 2021. Esri specializes, as you all know, in geographic information systems, software and location intelligence solutions. And as Senior Business Development Manager, he's responsible for Esri's relations into politics, especially in Berlin, and with strategic customers and partners. So he previously also was a member, I heard that, of the National IT Summit and is currently chairman of the Bitkom Working Group Geoinformation Board. I think a perfect fit for this conversation. Esri is platinum sponsor of INTERGEO, so Sebastian Pache, welcome here on stage.
Thanks for having me.
I welcome another new face on the panel. It's Henning Sandford. And since 2025, he is part of Hexagon's executive management team, president of Hexagon's Geosystems division, and CEO of Leica Geosystem, part of Hexagon. In these obviously many roles, Henning is responsible for shaping and leading the global overall strategy for the Geosystems division and the Leica Geosystems brand. Prior to joining Hexagon, he served as global CEO of the Building Products business unit at Siemens Smart Infrastructure. Hexagon is a global leader in digital reality solutions, combining sensor software and autonomous technologies. Hexagon also is platinum sponsor of INTERGEO. Great to have you here, Henning Sandford. I welcome Boris Skopjak. Boris Skopjak is Vice President for the geospatial sector at Trimble. Trimble specializes in providing positioning, connectivity, and data analytics solutions. And these solutions enable high-quality, productive workflows and information exchange for surveyors, engineering, GIS service companies, governments, and many more. So Boris looks back on more than 2 decades of industry experience in Europe and the United States. Trimble is platinum sponsor of INTERGEO. Great to have you here, Boris Skopjak. Thank you. And finally, I'm pleased to welcome Olaf Freyer, as CEO of Interexpo and Conference, one of the leading private trade fair and conference organizers for live, hybrid, and digital events in the German-speaking region. Olaf oversees the organization of the INTERGEO exhibition and the INTERGEO conference on behalf of DVW. Olaf has almost 10 years experience in senior roles within the exhibition industry. He has a long-standing history with INTERGEO as Hinter's managing director until 2015. He played a vital role in its growth. After spending almost 10 years at RX Global, where he managed global portfolios, he returned to Hinter in August last year. Welcome back. Good to have you here, Olaf Freyer. All right, so as I said, this is half term of INTERGEO. It's another 1.5 days to go, but let me start with the host. And what are your impressions so far? What is your halftime statement, Professor Steiger?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me here. Welcome to all of you to INTERGEO. For the moment and for the last 1.5 days, we are very happy. The attendance is good, you can hear it from behind, therefore you need the earphones, but it's a positive need. It's a positive need. Frankfurt is a good place to be. And we all know we live in insecure times, not in terms of technology, more in terms of global safety. And I do not see this insecurity. I see our profession looking in a positive way forward, thinking of our technology, and DVW is trying to offer, we offer a platform to all stakeholders, industry, public administration, education, application, but also research. A platform for exchange of ideas and for a common ground and for a common sense. Our situation for the moment, we are very happy. Thank you.
As I said, and we talked before this event, many of you have visited the opening of the INTERGEO Congress. Can you give some insights on the Congress as well?
Some insights on the Congress, of course, sure. This morning I attended a discussion on BIM. BIM, what is next, was a question. And it was a highly interesting panel with specialists and experts from different areas. And I tried to compile the message. And the message was, we have the technology, we have the know-how, and we have also the tools. But what we need is a positive mindset. We have to decide, yes, we want to go in that direction. But of course, at the end of the day, there should be a positive outcome. There should be some time of benefit, not just doing it for doing. But we need a decision, let's go in that direction. What are the obstacles? Money, maybe at the beginning, but also legal limitations. But you can overcome this when you find a common sense and a common ground. And I think this is a message, positive mindset we can find in a lot of areas. In times of artificial intelligence, people believe, oh, our life is now in the hand of others. No, our life is in our hands. And we have to control it, we have to guide it, and we have to steer it. And then it's good.
Okay. And you all know that the DVW as an association has quite a lot of working groups. Are there any news you have to report from these working groups?
Yes, I can report from the working groups. We have, as the experts do know, we have 8 technical commissions, we have 3 fora, and they try also to contribute to the continuous formation. Our BIM group has updated, they make a yearly update on the guidelines for BIM. I think this is the 5th or 6th issue. You can download it free of charge from our website. We have also a group which is dealing with real estate data. They try to combine geographical data with real estate data. And there the keywords are transparency, data quality, and accessibility of the data. We started again a mentoring group for young professionals, how to come into profession, also by one of our commissions. And our technical groups, for example, on laser scanning, they work on mobile mapping, which is a very complex area. How is the data quality? How to make an independent check of this? How to find standards? How to describe the quality of such a point cloud, etc. These are the latest news from our commissions.
Okay, thank you very much for those insights, Professor Steiger. A lot of talking about BIM, so I can maybe turn to Ralf Mosler from Autodesk. So how has INTERGEO been to you as an BIM expert until now, and what role does INTERGEO play for Autodesk, and what stakeholders do you meet here?
Yeah, for us, I mean, INTERGEO is a great place because as a company we have this vision, what we call design and make a better world. And I think GIS data, BIM data, getting together, I mean, this is the enabler to let's say, deliver on that message and mission we are facing. And I think we are now part of the INTERGEO community since around about 20 years. And what we have seen over all the years, I mean, INTERGEO always have picked up the key topics. I mean, BIM, digital twins, other trends were mentioned. Now we are talking about artificial intelligence, what impact will that bring to our industry. So for us, it's a huge network engaging with different stakeholders, with our partners and colleagues together, understanding the industry. But the audience who is coming here, they are passionate to drive and to deliver on successful projects. And I mean, to be in contact with this vibrant audience, I mean, that's exciting, and that's what we felt already in the opening, and what we are also feeling in each of these discussions we are having here with the participants.
All right.
So.
And so what awaits us at your booth when I visit Autodesk? When I come along, what will I see? What awaits me there? What innovations did you bring here? What are your focus topics?
Yeah, I mean, we have let's say a lot of things we are just shared 3 weeks ago in the US at our Autodesk University in Nashville. And typically, if you go on conferences, sometimes you have the feeling, oh, okay, it's business as usual, what we are doing. But that time, it was really, you felt it's exciting, there is a vibration, and everybody in that industry somehow has a feeling, something is changing, something big is coming. So, and what we shared at AU was on how we are enabling the industry to leverage better data. That's our Autodesk Forma and Industry Cloud strategy, what we shared, and several of announcements, what we did. And that's what you can experience here too on our booth. I mean, a lot is on leveraging, harvesting data, and I think we will dig a little bit deeper in that. So if you come to our booth, we will share with you a lot what's going on the industry clouds, how we see the change from, let's say, a siloed approach in this industry to platform collaboration, and leveraging data to drive more value and bring more value into projects.
All right, thank you. Sebastian, what are your impressions so far?
Again, thanks for having me. I'm surrounded by INTERGEO veterans, so I still feel like a rookie. Yeah, but that's fine. My impression is very positive. So my halftime report is this is the place to be. You can feel the heartbeat of the community, and as already mentioned yesterday in the opening keynote, the future of work is here, and it's now. And so from that point of view, this is something like a technology melting point, the big apple for the geo community, and I really like it. I appreciate it. Yeah.
So which focus topics did you bring here to Frankfurt?
Similar to Ralph, so we have tons of topics at the booth, and I warmly invite you all to have a deeper look on that. But for sure, we will present imagery, reality mapping, 3D, digital twins, infrastructure, asset management, and so on, and so on, and so on. We have a clear focus on AI. This is a complete game changer, for sure. Yeah, and technologies are converging, and so this is my outtake from the first 2 days. Yep.
Okay. So let me turn to Henning Sandford. This is your first INTERGEO in your new many functions that you have. Hexagon has been a part of INTERGEO since its beginning. So what are your impressions so far?
Yeah, first of all, I can very much relate, feeling again as a rookie amongst many people who have decades of experience at the fair. But I really love fairs, having the exchange with obviously our customers, but also with partners and competitors, and also feeling a bit the vibe of the industry and getting impulses. And that's what's all about for us being here. And yeah, what you would expect if you come to our booth, which by the way is right there, is actually something that's at the very core of this fair, which is our new Total Station, which is AI enabled. That's a different game in terms of AI, but something that's brings AI very much into the practical day-to-day work of our customers.
We're going to talk about this later on, but you mentioned the vibe of the industry. If you would describe that vibe, can you put this in words?
I mean, there's the different aspects. One, I do agree. I think there's a lot of positive sentiment despite the environment we're in. And obviously, what my colleagues here said, that it's not only about the individual devices, it's a lot about how we can even jointly support how our customers actually work, because their reality is that spans across this whole podium here. And I think that's part of the challenge, and I think more and more that's also part of what everyone is delivering on and talking about.
Okay. Boris, what about you? What's your halftime statement? And you don't have to feel like a rookie because you have been here well, at least all the time I've been here. So
Yeah, just seeing myself in the mirror, there's more grays. I don't know.
no. We're all getting old together here. Yeah, more experience,
but
more wiser.
Like you said, together is a key word. I love that we are showing up together as an industry, right? There's concerns right around geospatial, future of geospatial, and I would say coming to INTERGEO every year, it gives me a reassurance that we are fine. Industry is really healthy. There's a lot of positive thinkers, growth mindset people, a lot of good energy, a lot of young people this week. So it just reinvigorates our commitment and the faith in a really bright future for our industry. So that's probably the biggest dash of optimism I would say that I'm taking at the midweek report.
Yeah. So as I asked everybody else, so what innovations or what new products did you bring? What are your focus topics this year?
For Trimble, we have been on the mission of transforming the way the world works by connecting the physical and digital, right? So we believe that it's getting harder and harder to blur the line or divide or draw the line where the field stops and office starts, and more than not, the work starts in the office and then goes to the field and back and forth, right? So it's really about connecting the two and connecting the people with the data, with the processes, and that's been the message. And you will see a lot of that at our booth, and not just Trimble, but I would say it goes for our partners and competitors, right? Like it is a community, right? There's not one solution that fits and dominates all, right? We all have some cool stuff within our toolkits, and I think again we need to work together to just elevate the industry together. I think the opportunity is much bigger than we generally classify it to be. So,
yeah, we will talk about this question later on. This is going to be very interesting. So let me ask Olaf, as being in charge of the expo and the conference. So we heard a lot about the vibe of the industry. So what makes INTERGEO so special, and what are your impressions so far?
Yeah, so thank you very much. Before I would say anything else, for a nice introduction, because I realize now what is my age, because I'm not a rookie here. So anyway, but coming back to that, yeah. So when I compared to Stuttgart, where it was not that long with again, so it was only 8 weeks. It was more than a sneak peek, but now with Frankfurt it marks a full run. And what I see here and compared to Stuttgart, it's impressive, you know. So when you look at Stuttgart, what kind of topics we discussed there or what was shown, I guess it was two hands you need to count how many times we talk about AI. There was some rumors, I would like to say, but when you look here around, it's amazing, you know. So in 1 year, AI smashed the industry, I would like to say, and when you look at the conference program, when you look at the stages, it doesn't matter if we talk about the main stage or the application stage, or when you look here across the floor, it's amazing in which short time AI smashed in and changed a lot of things. And it's just the beginning, I would like to say. And I guess you mentioned also the opening keynote, and I guess it's something where we're all not aware what kind of potential we really have. So I guess when you ask me what is the unique thing on INTERGEO, I guess it's a global platform. I don't know. It's hard to say, but of course I'm traveling, but not that much to say. Okay, it's the really only platform where gather these kind of knowledge and experts together and discussing the future. You know, it's not only about showing the products, but also in its use. And I guess this is what makes this platform special. When you look, what is the reach? It's amazing, you know. So and it's a nice trick to combine this with the stats you asked me. So when we come here to Frankfurt, we expect around about 17,000 visitors, and we had now finally 530 exhibitors, and From the exhibitor side, we have already 65% coming from abroad.
Oh.
So when I look at the numbers, and of course I checked my gate just before I enter here on the stage because I was aware that you will ask me. So we have a plus so far. So the interest of that topic, and I guess also what are the game changes so far is massive. So my impression is we heard about here a lot of vibes in and a dynamic. And this is also what only a platform like an INTERGEO live event can produce. You know, we can do a lot of things online, but to feel that you are in the right industry, that you're doing the right things, is only possible at an event like the INTERGEO is. So I can say I'm very impressed, and we're looking forward also to overcome the 17,000 visitors. So I guess we all will be happy, and some kind of a degree where we can measure this will be this evening when we have the party, and I'm not sure how long it will take. So I'm very impressed, and I'm happy about that platform which contributes to the overall achievement that you have to deliver for the society.
Yeah. Well, great to hear that. Thank you very much for your impressions so far. So let's take the dive into the topic. So this is rethinking data. So that's a powerful phrase, and it's also a little provocative, I must say, because I think everybody here rethinks data all the time. So why in 2025 do we have to rethink data anyway?
Oh, thank you. There are a lot of reasons. And I would like to give you, as a start, two perspectives. My neighbor once asked me, what is your profession? And I said, I'm a surveying engineer. And then he said in a quite harsh way, but there is no future. The whole world is measured. And I said, no. And I rephrased the statement from the opening, which was, 90% of the data created by mankind is younger than 2 years. So over the last 2 years, we created 90% of the available data all over the place. And this will continue. And this will also continue with geographical data, what we produce and what we are using. So here we need not only new techniques, we also need new strategies. And of course our profession, the whole profession, has a huge future. My neighbor is wrong. Besides other things, he's wrong here as well. So our fathers and grandfathers in the profession, they touched each data, each measurement value manually by hand. This changed totally from semi-automatic to automatic to fully automatic to autonomous, and now we are at responsive data. But how are we treating them? We talk about large data and big data, and in former days it was artwork, but now it needs a lot of strategy and management, how to do it, new algorithms, how are we going to treat this data? And at the end of the day, how are we validating the data? If we talk about AI, we on one hand rely on it, but on the other hand we have to prove it, because nobody wants to be the victim of fake news, also in science and in technical things, not only about politics. We also have fake news in science and technical things. And that's a big challenge.
Yeah.
How to validate the results, and of course we have to solve it on an economic base. We can't spend endless hours, machine hours, computer hours on it.
And how do you see the profession adapting to this transformation? What new skills do we need? What curriculums?
In the curriculum, you need a good base in technical understanding, mathematics, physics, of course, informatics, but you also need an idea about collaboration, technical transformation, management in the technical sense, but also management in the political sense of selling your idea to those who give the money.
Okay. So one of the biggest challenges in your industry today is that data flows across platforms. ecosystems and borders, and without shared standards, connected data can't reach its full potential. So, Sebastian, maybe to you, so as owner of a central platform with many partners and users, where should the responsibility for common standards lie? And how do you see, what's your perspective on that?
Yeah, I think the answer is very short. So the responsibility for standards, it's on us all. So all stakeholders are responsible for the standards. It doesn't make sense if S3 defines the standards and here's the standard, please use it. So we need every person on the table. That's really teamwork. And my second point here is we need open standards, right? And this is the key, this is the baseline if you talk about digital sovereignty. And this is the discussion these days, yeah? So standards, open standards, and please, together as a team. This would be my main message.
Yeah, and as somebody with first-hand information from politics and from your Bitkom work, where do we stand right now?
I think we are not that bad. So we have a long history in standards. OGC, for instance, we have Building Smart with IFC as instance. So there are a lot of standards and organizations in the market who push this forward. I think the challenge with regards to future is to speed up. Because the tech cycles, the innovation cycles are so fast. That's absolutely strange. And I think we have to speed up with regards to standardization, to provide the data in a secure way, to use it in an efficient way. I think this is the challenge in front of us.
Yeah, maybe directly to Ralf from Autodesk, as your solutions often hinge on interoperability. So what's your perspective on that?
Yeah, interoperability, I think we need to take a different perspective. I mean, we say our industry hinge on interoperability. I think the reality is our industry is still siloed. So that's still the big problem, and we still have that file-oriented thinking. So people think in files, they have it in silo, and typically, maybe not so strong the GIS part of the industry, but in the BIM world, for sure, people are not used to share data. I mean, the planner teams, they are not used so strongly to share data. So first of all, when we talk and think about open data and interoperability, is that we need a different vehicle. So I mean, open up the data and not thinking anymore in files. I think what we think in terms of granular data. As an industry, we are moving to a way where we give access in platforms to data, and then you do not need to open one IFC file or PowerClide here. You just pick the data you need, and it doesn't matter if this is in an Excel file, an AFC file, or whatever. So that is where we think, I mean, first of all, we need to organize workflows, and I think we need platforms to organize it. Then we have to open up the data in a way that we use techniques to make them granular, what I shared. And from that end, we can overcome a lot of interoperability issues. And the second point is, also in that context, is it's not only, we say, the interoperability capabilities, or we are hinging here. I think also there is sometimes, let's say, users are not familiar with all these skills you would need to manage all the different files. So there is a, let's say, there is a capability topic involved. So, and I think if we really are able to move into the platform, what I described, I mean, we will find other vehicles, and we can automate a lot of topics where we are just challenged today in very basic stuff.
Boris Henning, do you want to add perspective?
I think the industry is evolving for sure in the how mature we are and what our approach to data is. I don't know how many of us at this conference, how many of you in the audience think of yourself as geospatial data engineers versus person that can turn on a GNSS and turn an angle and a distance on a total station. I think the more successful professionals in the industry are the ones who are more capable and consider themselves more of a data engineer, still being able to turn a total station on and a GNSS is a great asset, but the trick is actually knowing how to connect the different sources and how to bring workflows together, like you mentioned. And definitely want to second the fact that the discussions even amongst our group here are moving away from how do we make DXF better and how do we make a file geodatabase better, but actually how do we better integrate with our APIs. So moving away from discrete file formats to more of an API integrations, because again, there's not one solution that then wins it all, right? It's a combination of solutions that our customers often need to use, and it's really opening up those protocols and making sure that we move the right amounts and the right bits of data. It's not efficient just to move consistently from one cloud to the other cloud to the desktop. We need to get much smarter about how do we manage our data ecosystems.
Okay.
Yeah, indeed. From my perspective, we need to be a bit more differentiated. There's always this tension between innovation and standardization. And what ultimately counts is productivity and efficiency for our customers. And I think the more closer you get to a device, most probably the most productive solution typically is that you have a proprietary interface. But when we look into more the workflow and the clouds, then it's true what you said earlier. There's so much data out there, but that's not the gap. The gap is how much do we do with it? How much do we put quality into the data and then drive outcomes? And this is where we really need to be more agnostic in how we look at it and to actually be able to stream data and to have more an API kind of interfacing, which most probably is a standard in itself. It's the way of how we structure collaboration across the different ecosystems.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I thought you had to. As you know, nearly all the time we're talking mostly about AI at the moment and geo AI, and it's not a buzzword anymore. In geospatial, it's already shaping workflows in every kind of way. So as a leader in CAD and BIM, how is AI transforming your design and simulation processes? Maybe now little best practice examples would be nice.
I mean, if we look into AI and how we reflect on AI, I think first of all, we see that is, let's say, it extends human capabilities. So we really see it as a technique to support humans in a way that they can drive more capacity and also capability. So in how we are implementing it, I mean, we have a lot of different ways how we leverage AI today. I mean, there is, when we talk in Autodesk about AI, we have integrated a lot of AI features, let's call it, into our construction cloud or into Forma. And it's about managing risks. And what we are doing on the construction side is managing risks in different stages of a project. I mean, that might be that an engineer sees, hey, something is not executed as it was planned, so AI can flag that. If you have data which are coming in from design teams, you have risk centers, and automatically it gets flagged when you have, let's say, low quality data which is coming from the supply chain. And then you are coming into a phase where you have mass data which you analyze, and then you're coming in a state where suddenly AI can tell you where you need maybe to intervene, where you have an issue. So that is on the construction part, and on the let's say planning on the design side. We just have launched a tool what we are calling InfraSpace, which is an extension of Autodesk Forma, and that's a combination where you have predictive generative AI for infrastructure, and that helps you to understand if you do road, rail or bridge construction, you can run more than 100 different use cases to analyze if you want to change or if you need to adapt something. That might be sustainability impact, that might be, let's say, that might be wind flow simulation, many direction. And that's in a context where we also link it to geospatial data, where we have a kind of, let's say, that horizontal view, what we maybe would phrase in GIS, into that vertical view, what we have in BIM when it comes to infrastructure or also buildings. So predictive, let's say, analysis and use cases, that's how we are implementing it. And in construction, it's a lot on risk management and risk analysis.
All right. Boris, in surveying, construction, and agriculture, how do you use AI to concretely optimize workflows of your customers? So I think you integrated it into Trimble Connect.
Yeah, so
Tell us about
the AI is just an integral part. I would say it's going to become an integral part of every solution we touch. It's just a matter of how fast we get to that point. We started 7-8 years ago, before AI was a term, right? We had a software called Trimble eCognition out of Germany, and that was its own software where you actually would do your own scripting, programming, and we tried to make that a less programming intensive, that it became first part of our Trimble Business Center office software. Initially to automatically extract features from reality capture data. So the customers wanted to get curb and line information, get the tree vegetation extraction, point cloud classification. But now the interesting part is actually what Ralph hit on, right? How to connect actually multiple AI agents, right? One agent that extracts, and then you have another agent that checks, and then you have another agent that exports and syncs it to another environment where there's another agent that actually receives and verifies the incoming data. So I think we will see a lot of movement there in those types of connectivity with the multi-agent workflows. And you asked about Connect. Yeah, so Connect is the central platform from Trimble where it's our version of Google Translate for everything we do internally as well as with the external partners. And having released AI this actually just a few months ago inside Trimble Connect was a huge deal for us. That was AI for geospatial, for feature extraction, but we have AI for project management, for optimizing cost, schedule, right? The way you execute on a you mentioned a bridge or a road project, you can decide, do I want to put 5 machines on the project to get it done faster and my cost is going to go up, or I need 2 of those machines of a special type to be on another site, and how's the weather going to look like next week? Am I going to be able to do that, right? Those are all kind of simulations and optimizations that AI can do in a much faster, optimized way than a human alone. So very, very excited about the practical usage of that AI going forward.
Okay. So Henning, how do you integrate, or how do you work with AI? I've read that you just launched this robotic system. Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, sure. Happy to do so. I mean, indeed, any productivity downstream on the application side actually builds on the accuracy and reliability in the very first place. And this is actually where the whole industry builds on the expertise of our surveyors. And this is our job, to empower them to perform. And we have always to strike this balance between productivity, which obviously surveying is building on, but also accuracy, which ultimately is what your credibility is on. And this is a tension, and we invested actually to bring AI into the field to basically address this tension. And so our new robotic total station, the TS20, which a couple of meters away, you can see is actually AI enabled. And what it does is that it helps you very practically in the field to address common sources of mistakes that happen. So for instance, it helps you to detect whether the prism that you selected is actually the one that you have in the field. Yeah. Or it helps you to actually, if there's a disruption in the field of view, that it actually relocks the prism, so that you just have productivity and the accuracy that you actually need, as well as even in misty rain situations that you can connect safely and that you know that you deliver high quality data. And then obviously you can take it into the application world where, as my colleague said, there's a lot of AI that you can build then on the data. But yeah, this year our focus has clearly been to bring AI into the field to break this paradigm between productivity and reliability.
So Sebastian, maybe you could tell us as well what impact does AI have on your solutions, and in the opening keynote your colleague Konrad Wenzel, he showed some really nice best practice. I know you wanted to show as well here today, but maybe you can talk about it a little bit to everybody who might not have seen that.
Sure, happy to do so. So AI is nothing complete new for Esri. So we implementing AI over a lot of years. We call it Geo AI. But the big new thing is that we are integrating a complete AI layer into the ArcGIS platform. So you have a GIS plus AI platform. And that's a game changer. And with regards to Earth intelligence, you've mentioned one example. Please feel free to come to the booth to see that. This is my preferred example. Let me share some context with you. You are all aware of this disaster in Western Germany a few years ago in the Ahrtal region, with heavy rains, with floods, and with destruction. And there was a similar event last year in Spain, and last week there was something on Ibiza and Mallorca, if I'm not wrong. So we have these events. But with Earth intelligence and with AI, we have the technology, we have the data, we have the people to be on top of the process. And what does that mean? So we are able to decide, are there regions we have to evacuate to protect the people? So such a catastrophe is not mandatory any longer. And this is, from my point of view, one of the best examples for the impact of AI, Earth intelligence to our society.
As I have an eye on the clock running down, we have to speed up a little bit. So we have maybe a question to you from Autodesk, Ralf again. What role do immersive technologies play in your projects?
Yeah, I talked about the construction part, and I think immersive technology can bring into construction project, let's say, that immersive reality. So construction teams, they can share projects in real time over platforms. They can use it to conduct issue management, to get a better understanding. And that is one point. And secondly, what we see, it is also something which especially the young generation, which now gets into or on the job site, what they like and how they like to run projects. So for us, it's a critical technology to make construction projects more effective and productive.
All right, Boris, as you are, Trimble has subscription models, and so how can these tools not only scale but also empower a wide range of professionals to participate in shaping these digital realities?
Yeah, I would say the reason you can think about the cloud in multiple ways, right? And we all have our emotions when we mention a certain word, right? So the word cloud, whether you like it or not, is one of the best selling tools for us to actually to present our geospatial data and the result of the surveyor's work to many more customers than ever before, right? Keeping in mind that not everybody has the professional application, or not everybody has the access and the knowledge that you have. So you just have to acknowledge the value on kind of getting more data into hands of more people than ever before. It's a tremendous power we have. The subscription model don't stop just on the software and the cloud. I would say we have been on a journey on thinking how do we do the same thing for our field users, right? How do we put the technology in the field, in the hands of more customers than ever before? Not everybody can afford a high-end GNSS or high-end total station or mobile mapping system. So this is where we were trying to be creative with the solutions like Trimble Catalyst that allows us to put a fairly inexpensive antenna that you can hook up to your phone or a handheld device and have that centimeter level position anywhere in the world at a very, very quick deployment, right? That enabled us to empower a lot of emergency responder people, a lot of people doing landscape architecture, a lot of people doing glaciers melting research in the tropical areas, like all the most interesting, amazing projects with the customers and users that we didn't think would traditionally be our users. And this is where we see the power of subscription. It's not the scheme to get more money and spin up the ARR for your investment community. It's truly intrinsically driven to get more technology into hands of more people than ever before, because it's really good for us.
Yes. Due to the time, I have to work a little bit now with open questions, and I want to change to collaboration because a lot of was already set in this direction. I want to somehow put it to the point, do formal competitors have to become partners? Is this what the future will look like?
Well, I don't believe that we talk future. I think this is a fact since quite a number of years. And it will, I think with all the things that we discussed today, will most probably even be more relevant in the future, because data will drive much more interfaces between teams, not only in the one company, but across. And I think that's an opportunity. If we think about we talk a lot about inputs, but if we talk about the outcome that we actually want to address, construction has so much opportunity still to drive meaningful change. And that in many ways, as much as we compete, there's a lot of opportunity out there and mutual or joint growth if we find ways to also collaborate on some ends, as much as obviously we also compete. But I think that balance is it's not a future. I think this is around us today.
Competition is a USB stick, pen and paper. Those are the competitors we are fighting most fiercely against. So.
All right.
Yeah, I think what I said on we have that siloed industry. I mean, I think the era we are moving in, and I mean, we all want to harvest data. I think it's really about interoperability between ecosystems and between the platforms. I mean, yeah, on one way we might be competitors, but the bigger opportunity is the collaboration simply to drive value for our customers and the community. And I think maybe it's not only the USB stick who is a competitor. I think we all are missing a huge opportunity if we do not develop the digital muscles we all need to be successful. And that is in every area of the society the case. So, I mean, I'm thrilled because I think we will have definitely more, let's say, collaboration between enterprises, between platforms. And I think the same is true if I look into our customers. I mean, they will only be successful if they better collaborate, and if we are able as a construction industry to, let's say, to drive a consistent workflow forward in a value chain.
Okay.
Two comments. First, from a customer point of view and this digital sovereignty discussion point of view. So I'm a big fan of competition because this is needed to have choices, and this is really mandatory. So let's keep the competition. This is pushing all of us, first. Second, the customer doesn't care which silo is there, the silo A, B, C, and we have to break the silos. And we know how to break the silos by providing interoperable, open, standardized systems.
Yes.
And there can be several competitors in the market. If they all act on this approach, everything is fine from my point of view. Again, we have to speed up in developing the existing standards to the next level. This is, from my point of view, a challenge, but let's keep the competition.
Right.
Maybe as a neutral observer, there is always this first reflex, are competition among the manufacturers. But I think the silo, of course, competition is good. But silo thinking we find also in other places, public administration, private sector, academia, application. I think if we talk about these complex problems we want to solve, we have to try to break the barriers, although there is competition. And we have to try to break the silos and have a look into the other silos.
All right. Olaf, may I ask you for a short conclusion of what we heard? We have to rush through this. I'm really sorry for that, but it's a lot of things to talk about and a lot of interesting insights.
Yeah, no problem about that. So yeah, I'm happy to do make some conclusion. I guess what I mentioned earlier, no doubt about, the INTERGEO 25 shows clearly that live events remain irreplaceable. It's needed to have these kind of events because of the things we discussed here on the panel. I guess it's needed. We can't sort it out otherwise. It's especially because the technology meets here the community, and this is the only place where you can do it easily and have this kind of innovation what it's needed to sort problems. And the challenge as an organizer is to translate the momentum, I would like to say, into a continuous engagement of throughout the year. Doesn't matter if you talk about a live event, but also digital touchpoint. I guess this is something what we have to accept as a challenge to keep that momentum running. When you only say 4 takeouts would be, first, I guess that what we see here is incredible, and nobody knows at the end where it ends. So I will be also very excited and curious about what will be next year. So second is that makes clear here what we see, that we carry responsibility to build trust on the transparency, on the interoperability, and on ethics. This is something what we here see and what we have to deliver from my point of view. Third is the technology make the information tangible, and that drives the acceptance and in the society and the markets. So and the fourth is we have here the platform which really bridge the industry, so means the technology with the community, and this is what is needed, and this is also what we have to see as a future task to move forward, and also to continue with the next INTERGEO where we have next year in September in Munich.
Can I just one word, being new to the industry, I think we talk a lot about our community. We talk a lot about the exchange within the community, which is obviously needed, and all the topics have shown this. But when I talk to customers, one of the themes is talent shortage. And as much as we can drive productivity in our tooling, I think the enthusiasm that I sense in this fair, we also need to find ways to actually talk outside of our community about it, because we really need that across all the different faculties. So that would be one wish I would have.
Okay, so if you look 5 years ahead, Boris, what will the industry look like? What? Please keep it short.
I think the AI is truly transformative. I'd say we are just at the beginning, right? So I'd say super excited about where it's really hard to predict, to be honest, and because of that. We just know that we fully need to be embracing it. I would say not be hesitant to transform and disrupt ourselves, even to a degree. I think the complacency and then doing things the way we've always done it, just because that's how it should be done, should not be part of our thinking going forward. I would say in 5 years, AI, IoT. Just ubiquitous connectivity, right? There's a lot of stuff happening in the sky, as well as the communications delivery, right? The world is going to be increasingly connected place, and the instant gratification and the desire to get the answers. Kind of, we talked a lot about data. People don't really want data. Who cares? People want answers, right? So that's the future in the next 5 years.
Okay, thank you. Ralf?
Yeah, I think in 5 years we all have a lot of new friends, and these are what we call agentic AIs. So we see an industry which talks to its BIM models, which is in interaction with BIM models. And I think what we see in 5 years from here, I mean, the AI models will improve enormously. What we see today, I mean, these are the large language models which are generally or commonly used. But what we see is this trend really in more AEC-specific AI data models. We will dive into that. And each customer, sooner or later, who will be in that topic, will build his own agents and maybe will have his own company AI. This is what we see. So, and that's where we are engaging in, and that's where we are researching since more than 10 years on that field, and that will become true. And I think that is pretty exciting what we will see in the next 5 years.
All right, Sebastian.
To predict, yeah, but I strongly believe without AI we are knocked out. Happy to repeat that in German, it sounds better. Ohne KI sind wir K.O. But, and this is important for our community here, AI without geodata, that doesn't make sense. So the AI needs the context, the spatial information about the globe, the world, the environment. Without that, that doesn't make sense. It would be like a map without a compass. That's helpful. So, and I strongly believe in 5 years we are in the center, at the heart of this digital transformation. I strongly believe on that, and we will see again in 5 years. Yep.
I think you have something to add, or did you?
No, just building on what he just said, I think we jump into the discussion on AI or even agentic AI, but we need to be true to ourselves. I think there's a lot of work when it comes to the underlying digitalization, and I think this is one of the themes that we also push forward as an industry, and that builds on what you said. It's not only the industry. I think there's many other stakeholders that we need to take along the journey to drive that. And then we can really have the power of AI unfold. But
Okay, I thank you very much for these statements. And could you give us a quick outlook on INTERGEO 26, although INTERGEO 25 is still in process?
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to be here as president of DVW. DVW is a scientific technical association run by volunteers, and our main mission is to boost the whole profession, to boost the whole geospatial profession. And therefore, that's our, we are convinced INTERGEO is the ideal platform for exchange, offering ideas, but also for dialogues like this, which we are doing right now.
All right.
We will have more interactive formats next year, and after 20 years, we are going back to Munich next year. And for those of you who love Bavarian food and love Bavarian music, I tell you my personal plan for that week. You fly in on Monday, you spend 3 totally interesting but also demanding days. You recover from Thursday night to Saturday afternoon, and then Oktoberfest will start. So make your booking soon, and we hope to see you all there.
Thank you very much for your contribution. That was a pleasure. That was a lot we went through, and we still didn't cover all the things I actually planned to cover. But I think it was really interesting. It was, it was really exciting, I think, that was. And as this is a press conference, are there any questions from the media side that somebody wants to post? I'm not really sure if we do. We have a microphone if you have any questions. Otherwise, maybe you stay a little bit around here, so you're open to personal talks. So thank you all very, very much, and I wish us all another 1.5 days of INTERGEO 2025 in Frankfurt, and pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much for your contribution.